Hello, this is Minister Edward J. Robin Belanger, November 18th, 2010 AD. I'm here to talk this time a little bit about how the corporations known as governments of the various countries that we live in or the provinces trade the value of men and women on the stock exchange. When every man or woman is born at birth, that birth registry is taken through to the Department of Finance and through Treasury is registered and bonded as an entity, a commercial entity. It becomes a security. The paper which with the birth certificate is printed on banknote paper. In Canada, this is a fact. Canadian Banknote Company makes the banknote paper for all of the instruments that are used for securities and have value, and the birth certificate is one of those instruments. It does have a value, bonded at birth, for $8 million, and you can find this in the regulations of the Canadian Ownership, Control and Determination Act on Justice Canada's website. It's important to note that the regulations are the 1984 regulations. You may get a little bit lost, but if you keep looking, you will find the regulations. In Schedule 2, which are near the bottom of the list there, you will find the value of life for male and female, and you will see that there are 6 digits there involved, or pardon me, 7, which would mean we're speaking in millions of dollars, and it's like a $7.98 million every man and woman is bonded for at birth, and it accrues value at an increase of 12.3% per annum. Those are the annuities paid to the trustee for the beneficiary. You are deemed as the beneficiary. You are deemed as being beneficially owned. You are deemed as being a person owned by another person. In that document, at the Canadian Ownership, Control and Determination Act, in the definitions, will tell you that one person is owning another person and how much equity they own in that person. I spoke with the man who wrote this enactment several years ago. I contacted him, and he phoned me back from his home in Nova Scotia, and he informed me that he worked under John Chrétien to write that act, and he quit the Department of Justice because he said it was the most vile and despicable piece of legislation he had ever worked on in his life. It was about the enslavement of men and women. This is right, ladies and gentlemen. We're talking about the Canadian government entering into an enactment that talked about buying and selling men and women. Now, this enactment, the Canadian Ownership, Control and Determination Act, is a rewrite of the Foreign Investment Act of 1933. That was the year that Canada wrote off all of its gold, put the seizure to gold through an act of Governor and Council of 1933, April 17th, I believe it was. And from that point on, they had to bond men and women to give value for the paper money that was being distributed, because the receivership had already put the company, known as Canada, in a bankrupt position, but there was more money owed. So now the receivership was to continue to collect all that money, and of course the value of all the registries, now those registries throughout the corporation known as Canada, are owned by the creditor. And everything that's in those registries and everything that's put into those registries is now have a value applied to it, would be it your car, your land, or your children. And that value is now listed as being owned by the creditor. And the creditor takes those bonds that are created on those values and it trades them and exchanges them on the stock exchange. And if somebody should have a claim against them in the courts or a claim against them medically, etc., then that bond is attached to and money is extracted from it. And again, the bonds are formed into securities which are traded on the stock exchange with a QSIP number of the various entities that may be doing the trading. Each provincial courthouse, for instance, in Alberta, is listed on Dun & Bradstreet's website. You type in the province of Alberta and you click off the relevance after you get to the page that's going to show you the information, and you search by company and then click enter, and you will find that every courthouse in Alberta is listed as a trading entity, this much to the chagrin of the Alberta Securities Exchange Commission, who is of the opinion that Dun & Bradstreet are liars. And I have had one of their officers there at the Alberta Securities Exchange Commission state that he was telling me that Dun & Bradstreet was wrong, and that was false information, that they were putting that Alberta was a trading entity. I've had it confirmed from Dun & Bradstreet. I've even indeed had it confirmed from Standard & Poor's, and I've also had it confirmed from the the United States Securities Exchange Commission that Alberta is indeed a provincial entity listed as a business on their registries and does indeed trade. on the stock exchanges. So this would lead to speak to a fraud. If you're not informed in this and told about this, well, how can you have informed consent? How can a valid contract take place? So I will end this session with letting you know that you have the option to say, I don't want to be involved in this. You might wish to contact Heather Klimchuk of the registries and let her know you don't want to be part of this fraudulent corporation known as the province of Alberta, or any other province for that matter, that is trading your name on the stock exchange as if you're a cattle. It violates your faith and belief, the commandments of God, and you don't wish to participate. When she's put on formal notice of this and you give her the opportunity to dispute, if she does not dispute, she agrees with you, and you've entered along a path that will allow you to either take her into court and sue her privately over her negligence to release you from this fraudulent contract, or she will do the right thing and negate your name from her registries. That means expunge all records that have anything to do with that name from the registries of the provincial government, which of course would mean all of the Department of Justice registries as well, that didn't involve something where you would actually harm somebody or brought damages to somebody. If they were just some civil provincial legislation records, possession of marijuana, for instance, where nobody had been harmed, they're gone. They're expunged forever. Those records don't exist because they were formed in fraud. If, however, you did violate one of God's laws and you brought a harm to somebody, that record should stand to give evidence to somebody else what you're capable of or what kind of history you have. So I thank you all for your time, and I look forward to any comments you may wish to deliver to me on my YouTube channel here, Owlmon, or my email address, owlmon@gmail.com, or my phone number if you wish to contact me in area code 780-244-4572. I thank you so much for your time and your interest, and my diligent offerings of love and blessings from God Yahuwah, and may I hope that you may find more things along your path that may engage you in interesting activities. I bless you now. Bye for now.